Alright, AZ Gun Fanatic here. Today we're doing a review and the disassembly on the Ruger LCP chambered in .380. Now, as always, we're going to safety check the gun, take the mag out, inspect that the chamber is empty, and it is. First step every time. So the only thing you're going to need is a flathead screwdriver or a pocket knife. I usually use a pocket knife, but I figured I would, you know, be safe for a video. So one thing I want to start with and talk about is the .380 caliber round. 380 caliber was invented in 1908 by John Browning, and its dimensions are 9x17. I don't know exactly what that means. I just know it's the circumference. I know what it means, I just don't know the exact measurements. It's the circumference. So for instance, your regular 9mm bullet is 9x19. You have the Makarov pistols, which shoot 9x18, and these are 9x17. Some people will tell you, and I've actually tried this, that you can shoot a .380 caliber bullet out of a Makarov pistol, which shoots the 9x18. I wouldn't recommend shooting the .380 out of a regular 9mm, the 9x19. It's just a little too loose. It'll bounce around inside your bullet. Probably not a good idea. You know, a lot of people say that the .380, some people will say that the .380 isn't a very good caliber for self-defense, and other people will tell you that it's the smallest you want to go for self-defense, but that it will do. Me personally, I think a .380 will be just fine. This magazine holds 6 bullets in the mag. Somebody who is well trained enough to at least hit their target with all 6 shots, you know, I don't care how small the bullet is. If you get hit 6 times with this bullet, you're not going to keep coming. It's going to hurt and you're going to go down. So, anyway, the Ruger LCP. First we'll just do a little review on it, and then I will take it apart. So as you can see, small little pistol, tiny. One thing I don't like, I'll start with what I don't like about the gun. The sights, they're really hard to line up. They're really small. They're just barely, they're not even on top of the gun. They're cut into the gun. I don't know if you can see that. I had to paint the sights orange, white, and orange so that I could line them up better. This sight is just barely off the top of the slide. They're really not good sights. In 2013, Ruger did start making another LCP. It's exactly the same gun, except they raised the sights up a little bit more, and I believe they did something with the trigger. That's one thing I don't like. This has got to be like a 10-pound trigger pull. I mean, it has to be. It's huge. And one thing, we know the gun is safe. We've already checked. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the trigger. The reset on this gun is insane. Oh, hold on. It's insane. You hear the first click? That's not reset. You try to pull the trigger, it's not reset. You got to go to the second click. All the way, almost all the way out. The reset on this trigger is insane. That's one thing I hate about it. So you hear the first click? That's not reset. Second click. Reset. So yeah, in 2013 they made a new Ruger LCP. They raised the sights, and I'm pretty sure they did something with the trigger. One way you can tell if it's the newer model is if in your serial number there will be a dash in the middle. After the first 3 numbers there will be a dash. Those are the old guns. The new guns will not have the dash in the serial number, and the sights will be raised. Another thing I don't like is, yeah, it's a small caliber bullet. You know, there's not a lot of kick, but this being such a small gun, and a polymer frame. It's not very heavy. It kicks, it jerks when you shoot it. The kick is pretty intense. So, you know, you just it takes quite a while to get used to that and get it down, get your control on it. But you know, once you get it, it's not too bad. But it does kick quite a bit, even for just a 380. I couldn't imagine this being a 9mm. That'd probably kick right out of your hand. Probably not, but those are just a few things I don't like about it. On the other hand, what I do like is I do like how small it is. You know, I can just put it right down in my pocket. I have this little pocket holster. You know, you just right down in your pocket, whatever. Easily concealed. You know, fits just about anywhere. Just put it in your nightstand drawer. Nice and small, concealable. You know, it does function. It functions very well. I've put probably 500-600 rounds through this gun. Haven't had one jam, not one stovepipe. I even purposely didn't oil it for a while, and I let it kind of, you know, dry up and stay dry. I took it out shooting. It fed the bullets fine every time. No stovepipes, no jams, no misfires. I've shot just the plain old Winchester full metal jackets out of it, but I have shot some HPR hollow points, and those worked fine. I've heard people say that hollow points tend to jam in these guns. Not for me. They've worked fine. These right here this is a Federal Hydra Shock. I haven't shot that yet through it. That's the only one I have, but I would imagine it would work fine. So that's one thing I do love about this gun. Very reliable. And once you get your accuracy down, once you get to be able to control that snap, it's very accurate. You know, I mean, not at a long range. I wouldn't shoot this any longer than maybe 10-15 yards. You know, short barrel, very short barrel. So, you know, I wouldn't recommend trying to, you know, do a long shot or anything, but it's very accurate at short range. Good gun, good little gun. I like it, very reliable. So, anyway, we're going to go ahead and break it down. I'm going to go ahead, I know it's empty once again, so I'm going to go ahead and pull the trigger. So now, this is how you go ahead and disassemble the Ruger LCP. There's this pin right here. That's the only thing you got to take out, that one pin. Now I just pop it out, and it comes right out. And then your slide comes off. But there are some people who like to do this. Let me just go ahead and get this pin back in. Alright. Okay. So there are some people who say that if you pull it back just a tad, kind of like the Glock, and then pull it out, that's easier. I don't think it is. And then there's some people who pull it back all the way and use their slide lock, and then they pull the pin out and then release the slide and pull it off. It works all three ways. It doesn't matter. It's not going to hurt your gun to do it any of the three ways. It works. It's just how you like to do it. So there we have the pin. There we have the frame, the inside. You can see there's the hammer. God, that trigger pull is just insane. And here's the slide. So here you want to take your guide rod and spring. Take your barrel. And there you go. That's a basic field strip right there. Nice little barrel. And your guide rod and spring. So this guide rod does seem to be steel. It's not polymer like in the Glocks. It seems to be a nice strong guide rod. I've never had any problems with the guide rod or springs. The mags work perfectly fine. This is the Ruger magazine that came with the gun, and then I bought some Pro Mag magazines. The Pro Mag magazine works perfectly fine. I've used this magazine, I've used the Ruger magazine, and I have this beautiful 15 round extended mag, Pro Mag as well, and this works perfectly fine. This works beautiful. I've shot all 3 of these mags. They all work wonderfully. Not too expensive. I think I bought these 2 mags together. I think I paid $30 for them. So if you want some extra mags for your Ruger, go ahead and pick up Pro Mag. They got some pretty good ones. But yeah, so that's how you take it apart. Very simple, very easy. You know, not much to it. I mean, what, a 4-step? Pull out the pin, pull the slide off, and pull out the barrel and guide rod. Well, guide rod and then barrel. So yeah, the slide is pretty sturdy. You know, your ejector's a good little sturdy one, and yeah, I've never had problems with this gun. I love it. I really do. I mean, I don't really carry this for self-defense. This is like go out to the range, have fun, shoot it off, you know, whatever. It does stay in my nightstand next to my bed with a loaded mag, but you know, that's just in case. So yeah, reassembly, just do it all backwards. Barrel goes in. Now one thing, you know, I've never heard of or seen anyone do this, but you don't want to put your barrel in backwards. You know, obviously that looks kind of goofy, that's not right, but we don't want anyone to, you know, do something wrong. So you want to make sure this is this right here, this is where the pin goes in inside the gun, and it holds it in place. So you want to make sure it's all in the right place. You want the flat part at the top. So you want your barrel to go in flat. Take your guide rod and spring. Go ahead and, oh, I've never had that happen before. That just shows you how much tension there is on that spring. There you go. Put the spring back in. Now you want it to you want the head of that guide rod to sit into this little notch. There's a little notch right there. That's where you want the head of the guide rod to sit. So spring in, guide rod in, on the rails, boom. Now, this will slide forward just a little bit. So I just kind of take this finger and just kind of hold down. Push that pin in. Now, if you can see, there's a little spring right there. You've kind of got to work this pin in here, kind of hold it up and push that spring down, and then the pin will go in just fine. So there, the gun's back together. Let's do a function test. We know it's empty. It's working fine. The slide doesn't come off. Trigger works. Reset works. We're good. It's all good to go. So, one thing about this gun, and this is something I've heard a lot of talk on lately, is there's no external safety. There's no safety. That 1,000 pound trigger pull is your safety. There is no way that this could get caught up and pull on something. There's just, it's impossible. I mean, it takes a lot of you know, pressure to make that trigger go off. So yeah, there's no external safety, but you know, it's not gonna get caught on your pants or something and shoot. And on top of that, if you've got a good holster that guards the trigger, you'll be fine. So yeah, that's the review on the Ruger LCP. I hope I wasn't too boring. One thing I'm gonna do is I've had a lot of ideas in my head for videos on where I just kind of want to touch up on some subjects, you know, do some informational stuff, you know, talk about different things in the gun community, stuff like that. So I'm gonna start you know, an episode of videos, and I'm not sure what I'm gonna call it yet, but pretty much, you know, I'm just gonna talk about different things, you know, in every video, you know, have a subject and touch base with that subject and talk about stuff. So hope you enjoy the video. Leave comments, let me know what you want to see, and see you next time.